Good morning, everyone. Our topic for today is all about sources of art. And our topic outline is primary sources and secondary sources. Introduction. Art is expression or application of human creative skills and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing work to appreciate primarily for their beauty and emotional power. The various branches of creative activities such as painting, music, literature, and dance. Ang pag-intindi ko sa una ang art ko focus na siya painting or sculpture. Pero hindi gali kay damdamo na gali siya sangay sang art na ginatawag. Sa una, abi ko ang pag-acting hindi art. Pero subong, nintindihan ko na ang art, wala lang ka focus sa isa o duwa kung padalman mo, damo-damo, kagid matunan sa art. Primary sources. Both primary and secondary sources are useful and can help you learn about the past. In the strictest definition, primary sources are usually considered to be the item like personal letters, diaries, records, or other documents created during the period under study. But the primary sources can also include photograph, jewelry, work of art, architecture, literature, music, clothing, and other artifacts. In a broader definition, primary sources can also be considered materials that provide first-hand accounts of the events, practices, or conditions you are researching. In general, these are documents that were created by witnesses or first recorders of these events at about the time they occurred, and include diaries, letters, reports, photographs, creative works, financial records, memos, and news articles. Sa pag-intindi ko, ang primary sources amo na ang mga example nga ginbasa ko like jewelry, music, clothing, ba amo na sa. Para mas maintindihan naton ang primary sources amo na ang pinakauna nga studies or original kung baga kay amo na ang pinakauna nga ginobra or gindiscover sa una nga mga tawo. Kay may mga proof na nga amo na ang pag-obra step by step. Kag karon mabalaan nyo man kung ano ang ginatawag nga secondary sources. Let's move on to the example.
Example of primary resources. Artwork. Artwork refers to anything that is created for the purpose of being beautiful or expressing an important idea or feeling. Examples ng artwork like painting, sculpture, photograph, or other piece of visual art, mga included sa books or magazines and other printed materials na pwede mo makonsider artwork. Records. A record is any document nga made or received by officers or workers na pwede mo makonduct sa company operations effectively. This term includes but is not limited to communication forms and reports. Correspondence or letters. A clear connection to or with something or between two things. Letters, especially ang mga sent by courier or post in a correspondence, duwa ka persons pwede mag-communicate via written form. In other terms, it is a way to express thoughts. Interviews and speeches. The term interview ga-refer siya sa one-on-one interaction between an interviewer and an interviewee, nga common in everyday dialogue. A question is asked and ang answer gina-provide by the interviewee, who usually provides information. When two or more people are interviewed, permits sila virtually involved in a spoken discussion, and speech is defined as the expression of the ideas and thoughts through articulate vocal sounds or the ability to express ideas and thoughts in this manner. Journals, diaries. A visual and sometimes spoken documentation of an artist's thoughts and ideas. Visual journal and writing are usually gina-combine para mag-create final pages. Art on loose paper or in bound diary nga ga-emphasize ang process of creation and self-expression over a specific outcome. Components na pwede mo ma-include: drawing, writing, painting, and collage. Photographs. Photography is the art nga ga-generate photographs, images nga gin-created sa light on light-sensitive materials. Photos are made by light hitting photosensitive surfaces. Photography is the art and science of making such images. Recordings is an audio material nga ga-include everything from oral histories to music to speeches to radio broadcasts to testimony. Ang ga-include man all types of recorded sound. It can include anything from music to oral histories to speeches to radio broadcasts to testimony.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I will discuss to you about the secondary sources of arts. Secondary sources of arts are those written about in the events of the past. Examples of these are books. The example of this is the book of Rizal wherein nga mabasa naton ang about sa aton nga history. Next is the secondary sources are works that analyze, assess, or interpret an historical event, era, or phenomenon. Aton nga example is the biographies. Biographies portrays the person's life experience and these life events. Third is secondary sources often offer a review or a critic. Our example on this is documentary. Example, when we pass our output in our professors or in our teachers, they give us comments or writing notes in our work. Fourth is secondary sources provide second-hand information and commentary from other sources.
Here are some examples of secondary resources. Biographies. Biographies usually include information about the subject, a description of a real person's life, in a general view, or a profile of a person's. Like sa ginhambal gani ginani ng Gloria nga like kalibro ni Rizal, dyan yung makita kung gusto nyo gidi o kayo na nga kabuhi, dyan yung makita sa libro nga angay kara. Next are journal, magazine, or newspaper. This example can contain articles on a very specific subject. May have pictures, quotes, or graphics. But ang newspaper can both primary and secondary kay tungod ka contains ka description of historical events. Next is review. Ang review ga-evaluate or interpret commentaries considers sa others' perspective. For example, sa Shopee or Foodpanda, di ba may makita ka mga stars, dyan yung pwede mabutang or ma-rate andang service or product kung nami man kumbaga do inyo ron nga perspective bala kung okay ka ninyo or hindi. Next is books or textbooks. These two are also the same kay tungod ka interprets or prescribe theories of a topic or gayus sanda kaon nga perspective. Next is commentaries or criticism. Ariya kung dasig ka magpati sa chismis or hilig mo mag-critic, mag-judge sa mga bagay-bagay or like sa tao, matawag ka nga secondary resources kag gina-considered man nga others perspective. Last is documentaries. Documentaries not only gather sources but curated them to share a message including some sort of social critic. Ang mga film or movie about true story kag ang documents man nga pwede nyo mapakita sa urihi as evidence. So this is the conclusion of our report. Primary source are the original record created by first-hand witnesses of an event, while secondary resources are about an event created by someone who typically referenced and the primary source for the information. Bali, ang primary sources amog na ang ginhalinan or nakawitness ka event nga mga gakaratabo. Tapos ang second sources duman amo dunda ang gahimo ka after the event nga ginbase siya sa primary sources. Bali, ang secondary source talks about the primary source. Kung maay ang primary source, hindi man makahimo ka nga talk ang source nga secondary.